In the time before recorded history, when the world was a canvas of untamed wilderness and the echoes of ancient gods still resonated in the mountains, a name was whispered on the wind with a mixture of fear and awe: Xena, a warrior of unmatched prowess. She was a storm of steel and a harbinger of chaos, leading a ruthless army across the land. Her past was a tapestry of bloodshed and conquest, her heart hardened by years of battle. Yet, unbeknownst to her, the seeds of a new path were about to be sown. Her relentless campaign led her to a sun-drenched village nestled by a winding river. The villagers, upon seeing the approaching army, scattered like frightened birds, leaving their homes and belongings behind. It was amidst this scene of desolation that Xena's gaze fell upon a young woman who stood her ground, her body trembling, yet her eyes filled with a defiant fire. This was Gabrielle, a budding bard whose stories were her shield and her heart her truest weapon. Intrigued by this unusual display of courage, Xena chose not to destroy, but to observe. She was a warlord who had seen every form of submission, but never one so intertwined with quiet strength. Rather than leaving Gabrielle to her fate, Xena made a sudden, inexplicable decision. She commanded her to follow, not as a captive, but as a witness to her power. And so, the two began a journey that would defy all expectations. Their travels were a study in contrasts. Xena, with her imposing stride and ever-watchful eyes, moved through the world with the weight of her past on her shoulders. Gabrielle, in her simple tunic and with a scroll of stories tucked away, walked with a sense of wonder, her spirit unburdened by the grim realities of war. The days passed in a strange, wordless understanding. Gabrielle watched as Xena's chakram flew through the air, a deadly silver blur, and saw the cold efficiency with which she dispatched bandits and beasts. But she also saw the subtle shifts in the warrior's demeanor, the way a fleeting moment of compassion would cross her face before being masked by a hardened expression. Their path took an unexpected turn when they arrived at the outskirts of a once thriving kingdom, now shrouded in an eerie silence. The people were gaunt, their eyes filled with a hollow despair. The source of their misery was a terrifying creature of myth, a manticore, a beast with the body of a lion, the wings of a bat, and a scorpion's tail, its roar a sound that could turn the bravest man's blood to ice. It had taken over the royal city, imprisoning the king and his daughter, Princess Samini, and leaving the kingdom to wither. For the first time in a long time, Xena felt a stirring that was not the lust for battle. The suffering of the people resonated with something deep inside her, a memory of a time before the darkness. It was a feeling she could not name, a strange empathy that felt both foreign and familiar. She knew she had to face the manticore, but her motivation was no longer for glory. It was for a nascent sense of justice, a desire to set things right. As Xena prepared for the battle, Gabrielle, ever the observant one, saw the change in her. She saw that Xena was fighting not for herself, but for others. She didn't try to stop her, but instead offered her a small, hand-carved wooden bird, a token of hope and a silent promise of her unwavering belief. Xena entered the city, its grand avenues now desolate and overgrown. The air was thick with a sense of dread. She found the manticore perched atop the royal palace, its grotesque form a silhouette against the setting sun. The creature's roar was a physical force, a wave of sound that shook the very foundations of the city. The battle was a dance of death. Xena, her movements a whirlwind of power and precision, dodged the manticore's venomous sting and the slashing claws. Her sword, Ares, sang as it met the beast's armored hide, sparks flying with every strike. The manticore was a cunning and brutal foe, its brute strength matched by its savage intellect. It was a test of Xena's every skill, a battle that pushed her to the very limits of her endurance. Just as the manticore seemed to have the upper hand, Xena, with a deep and newfound resolve, saw a flicker of her old self in the monster's predatory eyes. With a mighty roar of her own, she hurled her chakram. The deadly disc didn't fly at the manticore, but at a massive bell in the palace tower. The chakram struck with a deafening clang, the sound echoing across the kingdom, a shockwave of sound that momentarily stunned the manticore. In that instant, Xena seized her chance. She used the momentum to leap, her sword held high, and with a final, decisive blow, she struck the manticore's vulnerable throat. The beast fell with a final, shuddering tremor, its reign of terror over. As the manticore's body dissolved into a puff of smoke, the magic that had held the kingdom captive was broken. The king and Princess Samini, freed from their stone prison, emerged, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. The king offered Xena a position of immense power and wealth in his kingdom, a hero's reward. But Xena, her gaze now fixed on the horizon, politely declined. She had found a different kind of reward, one that could not be measured in gold or titles. She had found a new purpose, a newfound sense of self. As she turned to leave, she saw Gabrielle waiting for her, a proud and knowing smile on her face. And so, under the light of 1,000 stars, the warrior and the bard walked side by side, their journey continuing. Xena, the warlord, had shed her old skin, reborn as a protector of the innocent. And in the heart of this formidable warrior, a new legend began to unfold, a story of redemption, friendship, and the enduring power of a single act of courage.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.